What's up guys, Terilis here looking at another Overwatch hero. This time I'm looking at McCree, who is one of our DPS-oriented assault damage dealing heroes. Now, McCree's story is basically one of a bad guy going good. Now, he was originally part of what is known as the Deadlock Gang, which was basically weapons trafficking and also brought in some military hardware and smuggled it through the American Southwest. That's kind of where he gets his style with his Peacekeeper revolver. He was based in the American Southwest, and he was a part of this Deadlock Gang. Now, eventually, this Deadlock Gang was captured or busted in an Overwatch sting operation. They caught them, they brought them to justice. So he basically had two options. He's like, okay, I can either go to jail and rot in a cell for the rest of my life, or they gave him the opportunity, just because he was such a crack shot, they gave him the opportunity to join Blackwatch, which was Overwatch's covert ops division. He chose to go into Blackwatch. Now, a part of Blackwatch, he started to really enjoy it, and he felt like he can kind of redeem himself for all of the things he did well in the Deadlock Gang. He loved the fact that the Blackwatch wasn't hindered by, political action and other problems. So, he really started to enjoy Blackwatch. However, when Overwatch started to fall apart, there were members of Blackwatch that really kind of wanted to bring down Overwatch. And as such, he really didn't want to be a part of it. This is someone who had changed significantly over time. And so, now, he was more interested in, being more of a just person. As such, he left Blackwatch and went off on his own, and then Overwatch collapsed. So, for this past several years, McCree has basically been a gunslinger for hire. However, he really will only do, type of things that are considered just by his, by his value. He values as just, and that's the only reason he will ever get involved in any type of fight. So here's the old Western stereotypical man himself, McCree. He has his revolver, his Peacekeeper, as they call it. That is the ability name, is the Peacekeeper. So I will show you guys his main ability. It is a powerful single shot ability. Very simple, very powerful. Now, one way you can fire it is just from single shots, or you can unload the entire clip in one go. So, if you want to blow someone up, you can. However, be careful. It does have recoil. So you do have to be able to use the mouse effectively to actually get the shots off. In my opinion, unless you're a complete pro, I would avoid using the entire clip on targets with really small hitboxes, really small frames. Those are the ones that I would avoid using the entire clip on, unless they're not paying attention. But if they have larger frames, feel free to just completely obliterate them in a few shots. I see no reason, why wouldn't you? So, definitely one of the coolest weapons in the game. It's fun to have him in this game, McCree. So, his first ability is different. It's just a simple roll. It's called combat roll. Blizzard wasn't the most imaginative with their with their ability names, but in all honesty, I don't think people care very much. The cool thing about the ability, though, is that it will reload your ammo. So I'm going to go ahead and use it here, and I'm reloaded. So, if I get down to the last shot and I'm chasing someone down and I'm firing them at my last shot, I can just go ahead and roll forward and then continue to blast into them. So that's something that's very beneficial to have as McCree. As you can see, he's kind of a slower hero, so having that kind of little bit of dash is helpful. Maybe to throw your opponent off guard a little bit, but it really finds its usage in the actual being able to reload your weapon really quickly and dodge at the same time. Now his second ability is a flashbang. It's a very simple flashbang, and I can't tell you how many times when I played McCree that someone would come around a door and very simply I would flashbang them and then unload an entire clip into them. Every single time. It worked every single time, no matter the character. The only times I think it didn't was maybe a diva, and with her I took out a ton of her health, and diva can sustain a lot of damage, so it was really nice to have that ability, and it's very useful. So his last ability, his ultimate, is known as Deadeye, and I'm going to try and get into a position to where this will be most useful. But like Genji and Hanzo and other, characters with super ultimates, it has a pretty loud sound effect that everyone can hear. And when you hear it, you're gonna want to know. You're gonna want to know, where is McCree and where do I need to hide from? Is basically what's gonna happen. So as soon as I get a decent amount of these robots popping out, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. We'll go ahead and use it now. As you can see, all you have to do is use the ability, and you'll see the circles kind of close in on them. And once they have fully closed in on them, it will be an instant kill. So it's just a matter of not prematurely pulling the trigger too soon. You have to be patient. You have to wait for it to go through, and then once it goes through, you're going to do a lot of damage. So best place to use this is up on a vantage point somewhere like this, where people aren't suspecting. Let's say that's a control point right down there, that kind of light area, and they're all trying to, take it. You can sit up here with a high noon and just wreck them really quickly. It's one of the more powerful ultimates in the game, and if you're not careful, you could find an entire team wipe if you're not paying attention to where McCree is and what he's doing. It's much like Hanzo. Pay attention to where they are, or else you could find yourself in a bad spot. So that's it for McCree. There really isn't much for McCree. His kit is very simple, but it requires very good aim. So if you're not the greatest with aim, McCree is most likely not the character for you. You're going to have trouble with McCree. Especially if you're not very good at controlling recoil. Because that recoil, I mean, just to give you an example, actually, I don't think I can get up to, there's actually a target up top there. I don't think I can get to it. But, oh, I can use the target right here. So, I can hit the target one time, no problem. I'll use this one. Very simple. Then watch where my hits go when I use the, it'll only have 5 shots in the pistol. It goes straight up the wall really quickly. So you have to be able to contain that recoil. And even then I was trying to keep it down, but I still hit both of them there. So you have to contain that recoil, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. I completely went up there. So just something to note. You need to know when to use the single shot and when to use the actual burst shot, because there are times for both of them, especially when you have a flashbang in your kit. So that is everything with McCree. I hope you enjoyed him. I hope to see you guys in Overwatch, and I'll see you guys later. Terilis out.